make sure you go over here and subscribe to my live stream channel. I'll be live streaming on a regular basis from December 19th, 2018, this year, in a couple of weeks' time. And there will be content on here which you will not find on my main channel. So all of you guys, make sure if you want to be up on my live streams that you subscribe to this channel right here. It's called Hatman Boxing Live, The Objective Perspective. Go over and subscribe now, then enjoy the rest of this video. Kell Brook defeats Michael Zerafa on a 12-round unanimous decision in front of his hometown fans in Sheffield. The judges had scores of 118-110, 119-109, and 117-111 in Kell Brook's favor. There were no knockdowns in the fight. Neither man was seriously hurt, at least not to my eye. But Kell Brook dominated pretty much from start to finish. You might have given Zerafa 1 or 2 rounds. Now, it was a bit of a strange performance from Kell Brook, an uninspired performance, a performance where he struggled to go through the gears. Early on in the first round, he was landing with good accuracy, and Kell Brook has always been an accurate puncher. He was landing with good accuracy, and at that point, it didn't look as though Zerafa was going to last very long. But Zerafa is a guy who's been campaigning at 154 and 160 his whole career, so a bigger man than Kell Brook. And I think that strength and that extra size told in this fight, because he wasn't able to hurt Zerafa and just manhandle him the way he was able to do with smaller guys at welterweight. I think that was played as big a part in Brook's performance as anything else. In fact, that might have played the biggest part, was just the size and the toughness of Zerafa. Zerafa from Australia, and historically, Australians have been tough fighters, guys who are very physically fit, strong, tough, without necessarily having the most skill. And I'm not talking for all Australian fighters here, obviously. I'm just speaking in general. Zerafa definitely fits into that mold that I just described. Not very skilled, I think it's fair to say. In fact, Zerafa was very, very rudimentary. He was tough. He was able to move around. He had a decentish jab. But other than that, there was really nothing there for Michael Zerafa. And that's why he was brought in. He wasn't brought in to give Kell Brook competitive rounds. He was brought in to basically be a punchbag. A guy who can stand up for a little bit, give it a go, but ultimately get outclassed and beaten up. That's why he was brought in. But yeah, like I say, Kell Brook struggled to go through the gears. Some people are blaming it on the Golovkin and Errol Spence defeats, which personally, I'm a little reluctant to do that, because Kell Brook had less than impressive performances prior to losing to Golovkin and Errol Spence. Yeah, you remember the Carson Jones fight? Both Carson Jones fights actually were not the greatest performances by Kell Brook, and there were other fights where Brook didn't look that sensational. But now all of a sudden, after his losses to Golovkin and Errol Spence, we want to blame every single poor performance on those fights. No, I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it. I think the Zerafa performance was more to do with Zerafa's size and toughness, being a bigger, stronger guy than Kell Brook's used to being in the ring with. So his punches just don't have as much effect on a guy like that than they would have on your average welterweight. So I think it's more that, and potentially the ring rust too. Although Kell Brook did say that this was the best camp he ever had. And I know fighters always say that they've had the best ever camp, but they generally say it before the fight. Yeah? Kell Brook also said it after the fight. You see, fighters say they've had the best camp of their whole careers before a fight, but then after the fight, they completely change their tune and they talk about all these injuries and niggles they had all the way through camp and they were ill. That's what they say after the fact. Understandably, okay? Because they don't want to show any weakness before the fight and give their opponent any kind of psychological edge or even tactical edge. So they wait until after the fight before they reveal the injuries and sicknesses and illnesses and all that kind of stuff. But that wasn't the case with Kell Brook. It was a lackluster performance, but Kell Brook after the fight said this was still the best camp I've ever had. So can we really blame it on ring rust? I know being in the gym is not the same as being in a fight, but I think there were several things at play here. I think Zerafa's size and toughness came into play. I think Kell Brook's expectations for himself came into play. I think he was disappointed when he wasn't able to get Zerafa out of there. And when he realized Zerafa was going to be a bit tougher than expected, I think it dampened Kell Brook's spirits during the fight. The fact that he was like, oh, come on, man. This guy's supposed to be a walkover job for me. I'm supposed to be taking this guy out, but somehow he's standing up to my punches. What am I supposed to do here? You know, and I think Kell Brook was starting to get a bit disappointed in himself at that point. So I think that comes into play. Maybe a bit of ring rust, you know, being out the ring for a long time. And, you know, the fact that this wasn't a particularly meaningful fight. Some fighters really need danger in front of them to bring the best out in themselves. And when you've got a Michael Zerafa, a guy who is apparently a stripper or a part-time stripper is his day job or night job, whatever you want to call it. How motivated can you get for a fight like that? In terms of on fight night, what kind of buzz can you really get on fight night when you're fighting a Michael Zerafa? So, yeah. Kell Brook won the fight at the end of the day. He also showed his limitations, which have been with him for his whole career. Kell Brook is somebody who is a bit stiff in the back. He's always been like that his whole career. He's had this stiffness to his back. There's not much movement at the waist. There's not much upper body fluidity from Kell Brook. He's very stiff, stands very upright at times. And because of that, he can be caught with overarm shots, left hooks, etc. And he was caught a few times against Zerafa. The left hook in particular, I think, is an issue for Kell Brook. Remember him being caught by a big left hook by Gennady Golovkin in the first round of that fight. So, yeah, left hooks, always going to be a problem. Right hand's over the top. But I think particularly left hooks because of the way he just stands up very straight. You know, there's not much, as I say, upper body fluidity from him. I don't know whether anybody can fix that. If it could be fixed, I would imagine it would be fixed by now because it's not a trait that Ingle fighters tend to have. And I know Kell Brook is now with John Fuchs rather than Dominic Ingle, but you look at the other Dominic Ingle fighters or the fighters who come out of the Ingle stable over the years with Brendan Ingle, etc., the Prince Naseems, the Junior Witters, Johnny Nelson, these were guys who had great upper body movement and fluidity at the waist. You know? Even someone like Kid Galahad, who incidentally was on the undercard of this fight, he's still got good upper body movement, you know? Certainly better upper body movement than Kell Brook. So I don't know why Brook's back is so stiff like that, but it is a disadvantage for him. Definitely. So anyway, let me know what you guys felt about Kell Brook's performance. Jaime Munguia, Jarrett Hurd, and Jamel Charlo won't be losing any sleep over it, that's for sure. This fight at the last minute was turned into a final eliminator for Jarrett Hurd's WBA belt. So Kell Brook is now Jarrett Hurd's mandatory challenger. And I have said in previous videos that I'm not exactly the biggest believer in Jarrett Hurd, but he is still a very big, strong guy. And you would imagine he's going to be a favorite over Kell Brook if that fight gets made. You know, I think a lot would depend on where the fight takes place. If it's in the US, you'd make Jarrett Hurd a bigger favorite. If it's in the UK, maybe a little slimmer. Kell Brook is somebody, I think, who really thrives on the occasion. And when he's got fan support and when he's in a dangerous situation, I think Kell Brook does thrive on that. So perhaps he could raise his game in a Jarrett Hurd fight. Both of them really need to raise their games based upon their last performances to survive at world level, at elite level, at 154 for any length of time. Obviously, Jarrett Hurd has done very well so far. He took out Eris Landy-Lara most recently, but how long can this weight bully, and I don't like to use the term weight bully because it infers that the guy is doing something illegal, which he isn't. Jarrett Hurd is well within the rules to be doing what he's doing. But how long is this situation going to go on where he can just overpower much smaller guys? Eventually, he's going to run into somebody who's big enough to repel him physically, but also has the skills to exploit the mistakes that Jarrett Hurd makes. Will that guy be Kell Brook? Possibly, but personally, I doubt it. I don't think Kell Brook will be the guy to dethrone Jarrett Hurd. I would be picking Jarrett Hurd in that fight, particularly if it's in the US. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Brook's performance against Zerafa and where you see Kell Brook going forward. It's unlikely at the moment that he's going to get the Khan fight. I mean, some people have said Brook's lackluster performance against Zerafa is going to encourage Khan to take the fight. And one thing I didn't mention as well was the fact Brook came in at 150. He could have come in at 154. Certainly Zerafa came in just under 154, but Brook did it to show that he can still make welterweight. So maybe he came in lighter than he really needed to. Maybe he would have been better off. Maybe he would have had more energy if he kept the extra 4 pounds on. I guess that's something worth considering. But nonetheless, it's unlikely he's going to get the Khan fight next because Khan looks like he's probably going to take the Crawford opportunity the way he's been talking. And we know Khan has got a long, long history of avoiding Kell Brook and kind of trolling Kell Brook. You know, people occasionally get mad at me when I say that Khan is avoiding Kell Brook, but of course he is. They say, oh, how can he be avoiding Kell Brook when he fought Canelo, when he fought this one and that one? Yeah, he's fought excellent fighters and he's taking on somebody in Terence Crawford who's better than Kell Brook. But for some reason, he's avoiding Kell Brook. I don't know what it is. Maybe he just don't like the guy. That's why he's avoiding him, because he don't want to give him a payday. Perhaps it's that. Is it the fact that he's scared of being in the ring with Kell Brook? No, he's not. He's not scared of being in the ring with him because he's been in the ring with better people, more dangerous people. But for some reason, he's avoiding him. It's as clear as day and very, very obvious for whatever reason. So, yeah, you let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Brook versus Hurd, how does it go? Does he have a chance? Should he stay at 154? Should he forget about being mandatory challenger for Hurd and target somebody at 147, even if it's not Amir Khan? Or do you think Khan is going to take the fight now that Brook didn't look particularly impressive against Zerafa? Drop it all below. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.